Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sean Donahoe, and welcome to another expert panel interview. Now, today, I've got a very special treat, a little bit of out of left field, but we have we've been just off the back of a huge email marketing launch, and a very lovely lady came past my Skype chat the other day, and I'm like, I need to chat to this lady a little more because she is the queen of email marketing, list building. She is a email ninja, and this is Andrea Smith Fulton. Now, you might not have heard of her, but I'll tell you right now, that's not a surprise. Kind of an under the radar marketer with an absolutely huge mailing list who's been building up mailing lists for a while. So today what we're going to do is going to ask Andrea a little bit about how she does what she does, why she does what she does, and kind of get into the specifics of her style of list building and what she's done, where she's succeeded, and where things have gone a little awry, and then how she's got to where she is right now. It's a very interesting story. She was just telling me a little about it just now. So, Andrea, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. I'm, again, ecstatic to have you here today. But
Yeah.
before we get started into the kind of technicals and the general geekery of what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, how you got into this, and how you became the email ninja queen that you are right now.
Okay. I started about 7 years ago. I've poken around on the internet, knowing there was a way to make money online, and I really just couldn't figure it out at first. And I got lucky, and I had a friend be like, "Girl, you need a list. We've got to get you started. That's what you have to do. The money's in the list. Do the list." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I started building a list. I got to get response account.
Hmm.
We had this was back before rotators and all the new stuff that's out now, and basically I started swapping with other marketers. I got into the Skype chat rooms where
Hmm.
everybody was swapping with each other and started building my list. I used ClickBank affiliate products to go onto the back end in my funnel so that I could make money that way. And it worked out really, really, really great. And I just kept building and building. And one day, people started talking about selling solo ads. And I'm like, well, I got a good list and I got people that respond. So let's try it. And that's where it all began to blossom.
That's awesome. Now, just to full disclosure, I purchased a solo ad from this lovely lady a long time ago. It's been a wee while now, and it was one of the most responsive solo ads I have ever purchased. Now, that tells me a lot because usually with solo ads, you've got a lot of tire kickers, you've got a lot of people who really, they're not really buyers and responders. But I'm going to kind of grill you a little bit right now about how you got started, what your first steps were, because we've got lots of people who are watching right now who we did a survey of our audience, and over 67% of people don't even have a list. They haven't started
Yeah.
building a list. And one thing I always say is build a list. You've got to have a funnel, build a list, get people into your funnel, etc. So
Yeah.
when you first started, okay, if you could travel back in time, and Andrea here has got a list of over 400,000 people. Okay, that is huge. That is massive marketing power. If you want traffic to a website, boom, one email, you've got floods of traffic to your website. No SEO, no social media marketing needed. You have an instant captured audience. So I just want to kind of put in your heads the scale of what you can do if you attack that. But if you could go back in time with what you know now from when you first started, what would your first advice be to someone just starting out? It's like, okay, I wouldn't do it this way. This is how I would do it now. If you lost your entire list, everything just vanished, where would you start again?
Basically, I would focus more on Facebook
Hmm.
than I ever did in the beginning. There's so much traffic on Facebook, it's ridiculous. And I never knew that back then. I had no clue. I didn't know how to do a Facebook ad. I didn't do anything. I could have grown so much faster just by spending a little bit of money growing Facebook ads. Before the solos came out,
Hmm.
and then I get into the solos, definitely, because it's the quickest, most efficient, most targeted way to grow your list at all.
That's very, very true. One thing we found, again, because of the demographic targeting, I could then fill my list with United States, Canada, Australia,
Right.
the UK, and stuff like that, and really kind of be laser focused. And that's what we do with a lot of our list building, is we're just launching all sorts of campaigns to all sorts of squeeze page offers, freebies, or paid campaigns. But
Right.
you told me that you have a lot of squeeze pages. Now,
I have a lot.
you certainly do. You actually stunned me with that one. How many squeeze pages do you have capturing leads right now?
I have over 100. It's just a little over 100, 106, 107. I kind of like lost count. I just kept making them.
Now, guys, this is huge because one of the techniques that we talk about a lot is going far and wide. In other words, don't just have one entry point into your funnel, have multiple entry points. Now, tell us a little bit about how you structure your front end offer. We'll get into the funnel in a few moments, but what do you do on the front end that really brings people in, and how do you structure your squeeze pages to get the best response? And what have you found works best and what doesn't in regards to that?
Okay. Basically, I've tried to keep my squeeze pages more old school. Now everybody's just got the background image with a blind offer in the front, and they're like, "Oh, opt in to get my super awesome free gift that I won't tell you about till later." And those work. Like, you'll get a lot of leads, but they won't be quality. They won't be. They're people just digging. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what's going to happen. You want people that say, "Oh, okay, this is about how I get traffic to my list. I really need that. I need to know how to do this. So I want to opt into this squeeze page." So my squeeze pages are very informative with free offers, sometimes very minimal purchase offers, like I want to know you're serious type thing. I've done that before. But yeah, I mean, just keeping it real on the squeeze page, let people know why they're there, because the more information you give them, they are going to realize that, yes, I need and want this information. And that's why I want to get on this list. And when you contact those people afterwards, they are going to find value in everything you say, because it's exactly what they were looking for. So if you can get them, on your list because they genuinely want to be there, and not because that's, not when they don't know what they're there for, you have a much more active, productive list that is responding to you and following you, and actually they look forward to your mails because they want to hear what you have to say.
No, you've got a very, very good point there. Something I say all the time. Quality, not quantity.
Right.
For example, we have a student who has a list of only 3,000 people. He makes $300,000 a year from that list. And that's very, very high quality. But then again, you also have to cast a wide net. Now, from what you've said there, okay, you're keeping it real, you're being informative, not blind offers, guys. And that's like these videos you see with like these ClickSure products where you've got this guy who doesn't tell you anything. He just says you can make millions of dollars by pressing this one button. He doesn't tell you anything about the product. It's lots of empty promises. You're going to have people who, again, as Andrea correctly said, sign up, but they're just kind of lost in the wilderness, so to speak, and then you've kind of already broken the trust cycle. And the trust cycle is very important. But when you're creating your squeeze pages, tell us about the structure of the squeeze page. I mean, headline, do you do, like, for example, name and email, or just email? How do you use videos, or what kind of graphics, bullet points? Kind of go through the anatomy a little bit for us to kind of show us, yeah, this is what I do and this is what has worked best or is proven to convert best.
Yeah, I always have a headline and a brief description of, what they're looking for. I do include the bullet points. Those are very important, I think, for, making sure they're getting exactly what they want. I try not to make the page sound too hypey or crazy. They're not going to earn $10 million in the next week if they do what I'm telling them to do. I try to keep it as real as possible, because I want those people to believe in me and not think that I'm just some, crazy person that's going to make them $1 million. And then they find out I don't, and then I'm a bad guy. I try to keep everything colors, pretty plain and simple. Little blues, little greens in the letters and stuff like that, but nothing huge. My opt-in form always has name and email. I heard for a while that just email converts better, but I want their name. I want to create a personalized relationship with these people. And when I follow up in my emails and I say, hey there, friend, that's not it. I want to be able to say, hi, Sean, how are you today? And that's really important. So I think name and email definitely has to be on your web form.
Great point. And you're right, because when you're creating a relationship, guys, you've got to have that contact information. You've got to be able to feel like this is your friend. You're talking to a friend. So when you say, hey there, friend, well, that sounds like the Nigerian prince who's going to send you $15 million in an escrow account if you send them $30,000.
Yeah.
It sounds fake. So having that, yeah, again, I completely agree. This is why we do, again, a lot of stuff we do with Facebook marketing. We use, for example, Facebook Connect, and we get their name, their email, their age, their country, and all sorts of other demographic information as well. So again, we do a little bit different because we just do the Facebook Connect button. Have you ever played around with a Facebook Connect button with your squeeze pages, with anything?
I do actually have it on a few of mine, yeah.
How
And
have you found that compares to like the traditional enter your name and email?
I think it works out great because I mean you're getting their real information, so you don't have to argue with that, and it seems pretty easy for them. It's much easier for them to just hit the button and say, okay, now I'm signed up, and it's easier for them to do that than go in and enter their name and email, and it can create a more personal thing because it's Facebook, and people think of Facebook as a personal place to be. So.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And you're right. It's that personal edge with Facebook. You're kind of lending a little bit into their authority and their connectability. So that's a very good point. Okay, now kind of getting a little bit into the technicals now, guys. Don't fade out because we're not going to go too geeky here. But when you're building a squeeze page, what platform do you use? Do you use something like Optimize Press or Lead Pages? Do you code them by hand? Give them a shortcut here.
I've mostly done most of mine by hand. I have used the Epic Squeeze plugin, the WordPress Epic Squeeze. I think that's really neat because it has a lot of little extra things. Mostly for a long time, I was using the Microsoft Web Expression for the HTML editor and creating my own pages, which isn't hard, I don't think, but I think I could do it. They came out pretty nice with the help of plugins. So, and my favorite was the Epic Squeeze that I did. I've done a little on the landing pages and Optimize Press too, but I thought Epic Squeeze was probably the easiest one that I used.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I haven't used that one. I've seen it, but I haven't used it myself. A lot of ours are done with Optimize Press, and now we're in the process of converting them all to Optimize Press 2. So
Yeah.
everything responsive and what have you. But that kind of leads me to my next question. When you're creating these squeeze pages and everything else, have you found or have you done any tracking in regards to who's coming to your squeeze pages via mobile devices and tablets and anything else? Or have you not really worried about that at this stage when you were kind of building up your list?
At first, I kind of worried about it because mobile was becoming so big and I was worried about things looking okay and everything like that. But everything with the smartphones the way they are now, I mean, they're massive. You can see everything on them. I really never track that. I have noticed it's grown just by looking at the stats that I get, but I haven't actually tracked to see, the more mobile or web. But I know mobile has definitely gone up a whole lot.
No, that's that is a very good point because, as you say, a lot of the resolutions on these screens now are just fine for entering in. It's easy to zoom in. You don't have to worry about it. Retina screens are huge resolutions now. One thing we've found is that with a lot of our stuff, we're getting, because of the industry in more than anything else, if you're not in the IM industry or a really technical industry, you're going to find a lot less people on mobile, about like 10 to 15%. That's what we found in general, guys. But for some of our stuff, we're finding 40% of our traffic is mobile. So, test it when you're creating a squeeze page, test it on your smartphone, test it on your tablet, make sure it looks okay, that it's clear enough, and then you should be good. So, those are great points that you've raised there. Now, okay, getting a little deeper. Okay, we got the squeeze page. What kind of things are you offering as freebies, and how does that tie into the rest of your funnel? What are you doing there, for example?
The freebies I give are always either things that I have written, I get somebody else to write for me. Very informational, teaching them how to do whatever that particular book happens to be about. Every once in a while, I'll try to get like a WordPress plugin or something like that, that like off Resell Rights Weekly. Way back, I used to get a bunch of stuff off of there and promote it as a free thing. Now I try to do my stuff. I try to write things for them myself that's just very informational. And whenever, whatever it happens to be about, if it's about traffic, I always try to. I haven't actually put my very own product. We're working on my product now for the first time in a long, long time, but I haven't ever had my own product to put at the back end. I'd never created anything. So I always go to either ClickBank or JVZoo, and I find a product that's very close, that matches, that will help that person with what I just went over with them on the little ebook that I wrote them or whatever.
That's very, very cool. Now, so you're creating your own kind of reports, about like 10 to 20 pages or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere in there, just enough to, give them a little boost, give them a little help out, teach them where else they can learn stuff, and then having them go to ClickBank or JVZoo for a product that's very close that will help them there, that I trust.
That's great. Now you're primarily in the kind of internet marketing, affiliate marketing space.
Yes.
Do you do anything outside of that in different niches? Have you played around in those markets, or are you just focusing all in this one niche because it's so big?
It's just all internet marketing, every aspect, WordPress, Facebook, SEO. Like I have squeeze pages on literally like everything I can think of in the internet marketing space. And that's just primarily like I did that to, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to send a solo for an SEO, kind of product. Can you help me out with that? Well, yeah, I can, because now I have this list that's targeted completely to SEO, and I can just mail to them, and I don't have to worry about just sending out a big general email and giving them a bunch of traffic that's not really targeted to them.
No, that's a great point. Now you've raised. I was wondering how I was going to work this into the conversation, but you've just given me the perfect doorway. Segmentation. Now, you're in one niche. Okay, we're in a giant niche, internet marketing, affiliate marketing, and there are so many subsects of that. Now, you've got lists in all sorts of different, obviously, offers in different markets. So you're segmenting. You mentioned SEO. So what you're doing with all of these things, you're creating focused areas where they're specifically interested in one topic: SEO, traffic, affiliate marketing, all the other different things that are out there, video marketing, etc., etc. When you're segmenting these lists, what are you just getting them by that one kind of subtopic? Do you group different niches together and then create groups of these segments, or how are you handling that right now?
I've pretty much tried to keep everybody separated in their own space, because every once in a while you'll have somebody that's into SEO and they're into Facebook or WordPress, but I try to match it up when I'm mailing out to them. I try to match it up as best I can to what the offer's about. Like, okay, well, I think, the people that want to go to this page are going to be people that like SEO and Facebook. Mm-hmm. So I haven't really merged anybody together. I've kept everybody very separate because I don't think merging them is going to help at all. But when I mail to them, I will select the multiple lists that I think would be interested in the offer.
That's perfect. Because one mistake a lot of people make is that they will do a generic blast to their entire list for completely random stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you're not targeting the right people to the right things, it kind of gets a little bit interesting.
Right.
Your conversion rates, your opt-in rates, your conversion rates, your open rates just plummet through the floor. Now, when you're, again, building your funnel up, you have a paid product on the back end. Most of the time, you're using affiliate marketing products, ClickBank, JVZoo. So a lot of people, when they're building their list, they've got all these free offers on the front end, and then they've got something on the back end that's giving them money. How are you then segmenting off from the buyer, the buyer from the freebie seeker? Because when we talked, again, you said you have a very high percentage of buyers. Yes. How are you then separating them out so that you get the buyers on a separate area from the people who are free? How are you doing that just by using affiliate marketing products?
Well, with the ClickBank and the JVZoo stuff, that's a little bit harder. I am working on getting, I try to do a paid offer of my own that's just kind of like a very inexpensive little thing that will help them, just so I know who those people are. They may not be the same people that bought the offers from ClickBank or JVZoo, but they are people that are buying. So I try to send them out stuff, and I'm able to record all that stuff within my emails and stuff like that, who clicked, who bought, and things like that. So it's all set up with the conversion tracking and stuff like that.
That's very, very cool. And yeah, when you've got your own products, guys, it's a lot easier because however you handle the payment processing, you can then integrate them and use automation rules. For example, guys, if you've got Rapid Mailer, we do that list automation where if they join one list, they're automatically removed from, say, your freebie list, and then you've got them on that premium buyers list because a buyer is worth 100 tire kickers. Oh, yeah. And much more probably. So that's very good. Now we're kind of getting into a little bit deeper now, so this is where it gets a little bit geekery. And that's where I live, guys. You know me. So I am a total absolute nerd when it comes to the technicals. But, okay, you've got 400,000 plus people in your collective database.
Yes.
The big question I hear a lot is how the hell do you coordinate all that? How do you handle all that? And do you have it all on one place, like Aweber, GetResponse, which you mentioned earlier on? What infrastructure do you have to, these guys can scale up to if they wanted to go completely, if they wanted to become ninjas like you?
I definitely have a big portion of my list in Aweber and GetResponse. They're my biggest. I also maintain and run 6, 7, 8 self-hosted autoresponders on my own. And I guess I'm bad because I do have a little bit of outsourcing that I do, but for the most part, I'm very protective over my babies. So
I would be too with a list like that. That's gold right there.
I do babysit it an awful lot, but I love this, so it doesn't bother me to sit there and watch it. And I've got my own little schedule, everything's written down and documented of who gets what when. I've got lists that get mailed daily. I've got lists that get mailed weekly and monthly. So I've got all that tracked out. I'm trying to think, but the self-hosted mailers and Aweber and GetResponse are definitely where I've got all my stuff. And the self-hosted is absolutely, I think it's imperative for everybody to have one, especially the Rapid Mailer, because that thing is awesome. But
I'll take a bow. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's huge because you never know what's going to happen with Aweber and GetResponse. Everybody has their moments. HostGator had a moment the other day. Aweber was last month. If you always, the most important thing to do is have a backup of your backup of your backup. Mm-hmm. Because in this game, you don't know what's going to go when, and you have to be prepared for it. So
that's a very good point. Redundancy is critical. We have to back up everything, all of our lists. When Aweber went down last month, and they've had even issues in the last couple of weeks as well. Yeah, and again, that's millions of dollars of revenue lost. So having a backup is a good plan. That's where, not that I'm promoting Rapid Mailer here, this is not the purpose of this, but again, Rapid Mailer does, even if you've got a system with Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, or any of these other guys, it's good to have an alternate source. Now, You're not
exactly.
using Rapid Mailer at the moment because you said you've got 8 different self-hosted platforms. What
Yeah.
platform are you using, and what are you actually using the server to send the email, or are you using a third-party service on the back end of those self-hosted platforms?
I've done both. Right now, I'm using Interspire, and that is what I've used since the beginning. I know
Hmm.
it's a little more costly, but then it was the only thing, that was worth it. I have that, and in the beginning, I figured out how to do the whole self-hosted thing on my own. I taught myself how to do it all, which was probably the craziest thing I've ever done. But
Well, I
yeah,
congratulate you for that because it's not easy.
it's not easy. It's not. And over time, I had figured out, oh, wait a minute, I need to be doing this. So it did take a long time to get them set up right. And I was mailing through my own servers for a very long time, and realizing all the issues that come along with that. I now am using Mandrill, Amazon, and SendGrid for all of my stuff to mail out, because it's a lot less maintenance if you let them handle all your SMTP stuff than going in and keeping. I mean, you still got to monitor your stuff and keep an eye on it, but things roll a lot more smoothly when you're not using your own mail server.
That's very true because, again, I'm not going to get into the geekery, but between SPF, DKIM, reverse DNS, bounce
Uh,
handling, complaint management, it's better to offload that. And you're paying a little extra, but guys, it's well worth it because they have their own dedicated. Well, when you get accounts with them, you get a dedicated IP. You warm up that, and that kind of it's just a lot less headache. And then you've got Interspire and all these other setups that allow you to literally just do what you want to do, which is send the email, then they'll handle that part for you.
uh,
So again, that's kind of why we do that with Rapid Mailer. We actually recommend using them because it's a lot less headaches, a lot less
uh,
geekery, and you're all good to go. Now, with using all that geekery, okay, you got all that taken care of. All of the people out there right now are thinking, okay, well, I can build a list. I can set up squeeze pages. I can get some private label rights if I want to, rebrand it, rework it, rewrite it if I want to. If I don't know what to write about, it's kind of already done there. But on the flip side of that, with 100 squeeze pages and all this back end taken care of, how do you get the traffic to your offer in the first place? What are you doing to drive people there?
Basically, I'm still swapping a lot. I'm still swapping. I'm still occasionally buying solo ads. I'm doing a lot of Facebook ads. I heard Google's coming out with a Google Plus ads platform. So
Yeah,
I'm,
that's the next thing that we're looking at. We're already kind of all over that one.
yeah, I saw that, and I was like, ooh, something new to play with. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go there. But, I'm trying every day. I mean, the squeeze pages, I actually contracted 2 people to get those ranked and SEO'd for me, so that I just have a constant flow of organic traffic flowing in there. And I'm probably bringing in well over 2K a day in new subscribers from that, and then extras from the Facebook and swapping, and occasionally when I buy solo ads, if I feel like I need a little boost.
Well, yeah, guys, that's 2K subscribers every day, and that's just from your from what you're doing now in total, extra 2K a day, or just from one traffic source.
The 2K a day is running about the squeeze page, the SEO stuff that I have out there, that I had them get all sorted and maintain. And then I bring in more than that with the swaps and Facebook.
Now that's amazing. Roughly, how many subscribers would you say you get total a day with everything you got going on?
I'm looking, I guess on average, it's about 3,500, something like that. I'm trying to keep it up there.
Well, you're doing a very good job. That's all I'm going to say.
I've got to keep all that fresh traffic coming in with the way that solos are selling, and I've got to keep people happy, or I will have no business.
There you go. Well, I think you with a list of 400,000 people, you're going to be in business for a while. Now, the question that comes to mind then is, okay, when you send out an email, because you're building it, say, from solo ads and ad swaps, a lot of people say that solo ads, they just don't convert, they don't buy, or ad swaps, they're non-responsive leads, they're, junk leads. Now, I disagree with that. I'm sure you would too. But what would your reply be in regards to that? How can people maximize their results with solo ads and ad swaps?
I think the most important thing is to test first with anybody, whether you're swapping or buying solos, test. Because there's a lot of guys out there that know exactly what to tell you, and then it ends up being a dud. So, test and find your group of trusted people, and then, swap and do stuff with them all the time, because it's about how they've treated their list and how it converts for you. You will get sales from swaps. You will get sales from solos. Not all the time, but you should. And if you have somebody that you're swapping or buying a solo from that treats their list right, then you should. There shouldn't be a reason that you wouldn't. But always test. You always want to test your conversion rates and all that stuff when you're doing that kind of thing. And that'll help huge to you not wasting money or time when it comes to that stuff.
That's very good point. Very good point. Finding trusted solo ad vendors is not easy. There's a lot of shysters who've bought they've bought like millions of lists, and they'll send you the clicks. Don't expect a lot of, and that's the thing in the solo ads industry is they'll guarantee clicks.
Yeah.
But they won't. Obviously there's no guarantee on sales, so it's important that you have a good offer. That it's an MBO, as we call it, a no-brainer offer up front, something that's valuable, as Andrea described here. Tell them exactly what it is, how it's going to benefit them, and make sure that your solo is targeted, like Andrea does here. She's got everything segmented into those different markets, so she knows if you've got an SEO offer, she's going to send it to an SEO list, not a Facebook list.
Right.
And then you know exactly what's going on. So that's a very, very good point. And again, between the traffic and everything else that guys can generate, it's, again, as long as you've got traffic coming in, you're going to get conversions. All you've got to do is make sure on the back end you're monetizing it so that you're profitable, that you are all breaking even with solo ads. Honestly, you're doing paid list building, but if you make a few sales, you break even, it's free list building. That's what we look for in the solo ad. A lot of the times we don't look to profit. We look to break even or just below with a solo ad. That way, because we know with those leads, we can warm them up to us, we can build a relationship, and then we can promote stuff later on once we've built that relationship, and they're more connected with us than anyone else. Now, it kind of brings me to the next topic, and we're kind of getting to the end of the interview here, but how do you maintain a relationship when you have 400,000 people and you're not promoting, just running promotions all the time? How do you provide them extra value so that they stay responsive? What are you doing there in regards to that?
Well, I always offer, in every email that I send them, I always offer for them to contact me personally, in my email. If they have any questions or they're stuck, or they can add me on Skype. I get some people that do, not a whole lot, but, some people that are like, hey, I'm stuck, I need help, whatever. And I basically just stay very personalized with them and make sure that they know what I'm looking for and what they're looking for, and I want to help them the best way I can to make things happen.
Awesome. That makes sense. And hello there, little guy. Welcome to the expert panel. What's his name, by the way?
Famous.
What's his name?
William.
William. Hello, William.
He's already walked away.
It's okay. I have that effect on people. It's okay. So, with that being said, okay, we've talked from one end of to the other. Offer, squeeze page, what you offer on the back end, the relationships, the traffic building. What roadblocks did you hit the hardest, and how did you overcome those? What things just frustrated the heck out of you? Because a lot of people are going to be hitting those same roadblocks. What advice would you give to them?
I think the biggest thing I've always seen and I've always heard is the unsubscribes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're always like, how do I keep all these people from unsubscribing? You know, and, you know, you've got a couple options there. You can change your content, maybe be more specific, but they're going to happen. You're going to have a loss of subscribers all the time. Hi.
Hello. Hello, William. Nice to meet you.
But yeah, I mean, unsubscribers, I know I've heard that with new people all the time. Like, oh my God, I'm losing all these people, you know, how do I fix that? You know, and there's you're never going to completely fix it. You're never going to completely stop people from unsubscribing. But I think that's one of the biggest hurdles. And just to make sure that you know that it's going to happen and, you know, you can do little tweaks in order to try to keep it down a little bit. But that's the biggest thing I see people get disgruntled over is like, I'm losing people, you know. So just keep your head up because it does get better as you go.
Well, you know, the one thing I say as well is people who unsubscribe are not going to react anyway. They're not responsive.
Exactly.
So I always find that unsubscribes are a great filter because if they're not connected with you, if you haven't been able to establish that connection with you, they're not going to respond to your offers. They're not going to respond to anything else.
Right.
So it's okay to let them go. The ones that stay are the ones that are going to be responsive and interested in what you have to offer.
Yeah.
So
They
don't
don't
worry about the unsubscribes. Now, I guess the next question would be, again, this is something I get a lot when I'm talking about list building, is what would you say is your average opt-in and click-through rate as well?
Well, it's definitely gone down over the past couple years. Opt-in rates are running around 40, right around, sometimes 35 to 40. I like to keep them up around 50, but that's been a little while. And the reason for that is if I'm swapping or doing solos, especially with the wrong person and they're sending generic email, that definitely brings that number quite down, and I don't like that. But I mean, I think everybody should shoot for a 40 right now. I think that's a very safe number at the moment, and 35 to 40 because, but it can definitely be higher if you've got the right people that you're working with and they're, you know, targeting with you, then it could be definitely higher. But I try to aim for 40 right now.
Now, what about the opens and click-throughs when you send out an email? What kind of numbers do you get usually there?
Honestly, let's see. I've got so many. I'd have to picture one in my head.
That's okay.
I don't know. I mean, they're a pretty good open rate. Sometimes, you know, I do between like sometimes 20% open. Most of the time, 10 to 20% are actually opening, and a good majority of those are going ahead and clicking through. It kind of depends. It's like what day of the week it is or what hour of the day the mail's going out. And sometimes you think that, you know, you must have the same people clicking all the time, but you don't. I've actually gone back and I've really looked over the ad copy and the time of day and the day of the week that the emails are being sent. And it's amazing that, you know, you have so many different people opening. Even though you're getting about the same open rate, the same click-through rate, they're all different people that are doing it because you're hitting them at all different times of the day and everybody's on a different schedule. So
that's a very, very good point because we found exactly the same thing. You know, the open rates are very consistent, 10 to 20%, like you said, and the click-through rates usually about 50% of that, and that's usually a great kind of number to work from. But it is vastly different people at vastly different times of the day. I mean, sometimes we'll run a promotion or an email, we'll actually do it at 3 different times during the day and get consistently the same open and click-through rates at those 3 different times because it's different people every time.
Yeah.
And it makes all the difference in the world. So, well, I think we've covered absolutely everything. I think I've extracted all of your secrets there. I'm sure you've kept a few back, but we'll maybe have another interview in the future when I get some more questions from everyone. But Andrea, thank you so much for spending time with us today, going through all of that, kind of breaking it down, showing that it is simple. Anyone could do it if they put the effort in, and if they just get working, they get those squeeze pages up. They don't have to be a product creator. They can just get something freebie on the front end, PLR, or just write something real quick, or find another offer on the back end, an affiliate product, direct them there, and start making money with this. And that's what it's all about. So, Andrea, thank you so much, the queen of email, and we will wrap it up there. Any final words, Andrea?
Just thank you so much for having me tonight. And, no matter what, whatever you do in the future, always have a backup of your backup of your backup. That's my tip. Live by it. Because
well, if you've got 400,000 emails, you better have a backup.
That's right.
But even when you're starting out, you're absolutely right. So, Andrea, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll do this again real soon.
Thank you.